So let's look at the very first page. The first page is going to be our title page. Now I'll tell you right now, you're going to notice me write with pen sometimes. And the only reason I write with pen is because it's easier to see on my document camera. Now as a math student, I'm going to tell you right now, pen is probably not going to be your best friend. Unless when you have one of those, like, you know, I'm very picky about pens. Like there's a friction gel pen that erases really good. I like that one. If you have something that works that's erasable, that's fine with me. But don't write in marker or something that's not going to be helpful for you. Okay, because you want to make sure you're able to read your work and not have a lot of scratched out things. Okay, so you want to make sure, again, that you have your camera on. I'm going to start going through this list and seeing who doesn't have their camera on and just asking them to turn it on. Because, guys, I got to see you. Okay, that gets you half of the way there to get started for the day. Right, as soon as you turn off your camera, you mentally check out and you're not really going along with us most of the time. Okay, on this very first page, you are going to put your first and last name. So your first, don't write down the words first and last name, please, okay? So I'm going to put Mr. Daniel, right, because that's me. This page is the page I like to doodle on or draw drawings on. So anytime I have a break, I draw on this page, decorate it. You can use markers later on, but make it look cool. Normally if we're in class, I give you something to put here, but we're not in class, so we got to make do with it.
Mr. Daniel?
Yes.
Do we write our name in the middle?
Yeah, I'm going to try to kind of keep everything in the middle. If it's not perfect, it's okay. Underneath your name, write period, and this is third period. In our school year, 2020 to 2021. Guys, this notebook will keep everything you need to know about our class. So if you don't know something, you're like, oh man, how did Mr. Daniel explain this to me? How did Mr. Todd explain this to me? This is your notebook to find it in. Excuse me. So you want to make sure that you use it and that you're keeping up with our notes. Now, if you normally get like a copy of notes from me or like a teacher, I will post my notes in Schoology. So you don't have to worry if you're not keeping up with us or if you have really bad handwriting. Still listen to the examples that we do so that way it will help you out. At the very bottom, we're going to do my goals. Okay? Now today, tomorrow, we're going to get a little bit of time to write down any goals, but what you're going to do is share any goals that you might have. Okay? So that way I can kind of help you out with it and Mr. Todd can help you out with it. So for example, you can say, you know, don't say, oh, I want to make 100 in math class. Okay? That's not a realistic goal. Right? You can say things like, oh, I want to stay organized by using a planner. That's an example. You can say, I want to keep above an 80 average. We can even put like a 75 or a 70 because it's passing, and that's okay. Right? These are realistic goals. So try to think of a goal or two that you want to follow. Now, everyone should be writing. Now, like I said, if you don't have a spiral, hey, that's okay, right? Get some paper and start making a spiral, right? If you want to put it in a notebook or staple it, whatever's going to work for you. Because if you know you're not going to get a spiral, then we got to fix that. If you can't get a spiral for some reason, like you're just like, Mr. Daniel, mom, dad, uncle, aunt, they're not going to get me a spiral, but I really want a spiral. If you message me or Mr. Todd, we can get you a spiral. I'll find a way. We'll drive by, drop one off. So if it is a big issue, you don't have to put it in the chat, but send us a message. It's okay. All right? I got a few extra spirals here at home, so I can definitely share that with you. Okay. The next thing in our notebook is our table of contents. Now, I'm going to show you how the first page in our table of contents looks like. And then we're going to do 3 pages like this. So we're going to go to the back. This is going to be page number 2. Okay, this is our second page in our notebook. So we're going to title this our table of contents. Now the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to double dip and try to do 2 different columns in our notebook. That way we save some space, save some paper, and all those lovely things. Okay? So I'm going to kind of estimate where my halfway mark is and draw a line down the middle. And on each side we have page number and title. Page number and title. I'm going to give y'all just a few seconds to see a lot of you are writing and doing this. Now, if you don't have a spiral, take some notes, right? Because you could rewatch this video, but it's a lot quicker if you have notes and know what to do already, right? That'll kind of help you out and get you there a little bit quicker than watching the whole video over. Okay, so that's something you want to think about. Yes, Lucas, what's up?
What is to the right? It says
Here?
Oh yeah.
Page number and title. It's the same thing. Same thing as on this side. Okay, and we're going to be using both sides. So for example, our first page was our title page. And pages 2, 3, and 4 are going to be our table of contents. Now, this is the time, like for example, I'm in the middle of doing notes, right? So if you want, you can post a question in the chat. Mr. Todd sees that. He gets a notification. You can always ask questions. If you need me to slow down, something like that, definitely you can say that there. Okay? If you can't see something or if you see me mess up, you can definitely unmute. This is the time where it's kind of okay. You can unmute and let me know. Just looking for some people. Arshawn, are you here this morning? I don't see your camera. Please turn that on. Let me see who else is missing. Jacob, I don't see your camera on, buddy. Please turn on your camera. We're missing you. Kaja, oh, I got you, Kaja. You're good. Never mind. You're good. All right. Let me see who else. Raina, go ahead and turn on your camera. I don't see you on my. Oh, I see you, Raina. Hi, never mind. Okay. I think we're good. And Mr. Todd, if you notice anyone whose name isn't there, or you can definitely let me know, or ask them to turn on their camera. That'd be great. Okay. So this is how this page will look like. We're going to do this exact same thing on page 3 and 4. So on page 3, we're going to do the same thing. Table of contents. We're going to estimate, split it down the middle.
Mr. Ben, back to the other page. I didn't see what was on there.
Okay. And on page 3, we're going to do the same thing, guys. Draw your line down the middle, write page number, title, page number, title. All right, so Isaac, you just finished your question, right? So make sure you mute, okay?
Okay.
There you go. Thank you. Okay, so page 1 was our title. Page 2, 3, and 4 are our table of contents. All right. Did you get it, Isaac? Can I move on? Okay, hopefully we're good with that.
Yeah, you can move on.
Okay.
I already got it.
Cool. So over here, page number and title. Page number and title. We're not going to write anything on here yet because we're not there yet. This is just keeping the page available so that way when we get to it, you don't have to worry about, trying to have space or anything like that. Okay? And we're going to do the exact same thing on page number 4. Okay, so page 4 is going to be the exact same thing. Now remember, I will post this in Schoology, so I'm going to show y'all where y'all can find that on Wednesday. But no, I spelled it wrong. Okay. There you go. I'll post it in Schoology, and I'll tell y'all where y'all can find it on Wednesday when we see each other again. So if you're having a hard time, definitely don't worry. I will have all this posted in Schoology. I'll even have the video posted in Schoology for our lesson today. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Okay. All right. I want to try and do one more thing before we take our break, okay? So if you didn't get the title page, just kind of keep it there and open. Yeah. Okay. Now, the next page, we're not going to number it, but the next page is going to be our first unit title page. Now, the way I do unit title pages, okay, we take this very top corner, and we're just going to fold it down to the side, just like that. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that one more time. Let's see if I can, there we go, it's a little bit more zoomed out. So, for every unit title page, we take the top corner, and we fold it all the way down, just like that. Okay? So we are going to go ahead and title it. Okay, make sure some of y'all are muted. Some of y'all, I can hear what we're doing, so make sure you check your mic that has the line through it. Okay, this unit is 4 things that we're going to be reviewing. We're going to talk about exponents, order of operations, integers.
Mr. Daniels, where do we write that?
So after my pages for my table of contents, you see how I did my pages? That's the next page. So I took the paper, folded it down,
Yeah.
and then we write it right here on that folded part.
Okay.
All right. And rational,
What are we supposed to write?
whatever's right there. Rational numbers.
Mr. Daniel,
Yes.
your elbow's frozen.
Okay, give it a second because it might lag a little bit. So it should say exponents, order of operations, and rational numbers. Okay, so if it's still struggling after like maybe 30 seconds or so, unmute and let me know and I can fix that. Okay? All right, so that's the title page, okay? Right now, okay, I'm not going to, I mean, if you look at your schedule, we have a break from 11:15 to 11:30. So this is what we're going to do for our break, okay? When you leave your computer screen, you need to do 2 things. 1, you need to turn off your camera, and 2, you need to turn off your microphone. I don't want to see what you do during your break. Use the restroom, grab a snack, do whatever you need to do. Take 15 minutes and take a break. I start exactly at 11:30. So if you come 11:31, 11:32, you are late. So come back on time, and we're starting with our lesson as soon as we get back. Okay? So take that 15-minute break. We'll listen to my quiet thinking music, and some of y'all just need to take some time and chill. We'll take about 15 minutes, come back, and if you have a question, you can leave it in the chat, or you can ask through your mic. All right? So turn off your camera, turn off your mic, and take a break. Remember, I will be here, so don't think I'm going to disappear and you can use the room for whatever. I'm always here. Okay? So take a minute or so, take a break, walk around your house, do what you need to do.
got about 10 minutes. Take your time. You got about 10 minutes. almost 5 minutes, guys. Almost 5 minutes.
Alright guys, start to make your way back. We're going to start about 2 minutes. So when it hits, well now 1 minute. 1 minute and then we're going to go ahead and continue where we left off. Alright, so like I said, make your way back. Just a few more seconds. Alrighty, make sure when you join back, you have your camera on. Mic's muted unless we have a question during instruction. My microphone is muted. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and get started. So go ahead and go back to your notebook. Remember, cameras should be on. Me and Mr. Todd are looking, periodically, especially after one of our breaks. Okay, so make sure you come back because once I start, I'm not going to really take. Sorry about that. I'm not going to really take that as an option. Oh, Mr. Jane, I forgot what time it was, or I didn't get time to join back in. Okay, so I'm giving you all that time to be, making sure we're doing what we need to. So definitely, we want to be responsible. Okay, one of those four things that we talked about at the beginning of the year. So today there is a little bit writing at the beginning. Like I said, if you're one of my people that usually get notes from a teacher, or your teacher kind of helps you with the notes, I will post it in Schoology. Okay, so you got to make sure that either print a copy. You'll see one in Schoology ready for you. So you can either print it, get access to it. If you can't find it, let me or Mr. Todd know, and we can get that to you. So what I did is after my unit title page, right, because that's my unit, the next page is going to be numbered as page number 5. Okay, because that's my, I only number the pages where I actually do like our math work, if you want to think about it that way. Okay, so page number 5, we're going to title today's lesson Exponents. EXPONENTS. We're doing this on the 24th, so I put the date over here. And that's how we set up our page. So I'll give everyone just a few seconds to kind of take care of that, do what they need to. Yes. The other pages that we titled?
Yes.
Okay, so Cajun, you can just skip those pages for now, leave it blank. So if you want to count, that's 1 front and back, 2 front and back, and a third one front and back. Just skip that for now, and after I post the video in Schoology, you can watch and catch up there. Okay? Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with exponents. Now, exponents is just another way to solve regular multiplying problems, but we notice a pattern with it. Okay? So, for example, if I gave you the problem 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. All right? What do you think, or how would I solve that question? Let me get a volunteer. You can click the raise your hand feature. If not, we'll pick on somebody at random. Okay? Any volunteers? How would I solve that problem? I'll use the raise your hand feature. Okay, let me hear from Joseph. Joseph, go ahead and tell me, how would you solve this problem?
Count by twos.
Okay, so explain that to me.
Like the multiplication chart, when it goes by down to.
Okay, so when you think about it that way, remember multiplication's like if I did 2 times 4, that's 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So notice I'm using a different operation. So here I'm not adding, right? I'm doing multiplying. So it's a little bit different, right? It's a good guess though, Joseph. I like that you mentioned that. You made a connection to that. All right? Let me hear from Ayan. Ayan, what do you think? You can unmute your mic and let me know.
Yeah, I do by step by step. So I have 2 times 2 is 4, so I put the 2 times the equation above the 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8, and then 8 times 2 is 16.
Cool. So I kind of like a little step ladder or steps. Thank you so much, Ryan. You can go ahead and mute your mic. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2, because that's the next thing here. 4 times 2 gets me 8. Then I got to do the last part. 8 times 2 gets me 16. So if I did 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that should get you 16 as your answer. Okay? So Joseph, do you see how it's a little bit different? Does that kind of answer your question? Kind of like what you were mentioning? Okay? So hopefully that kind of helped you out a little bit. Okay? So, that's what we look at, right? So 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 gets me 16. So this is an example of an exponent, okay? So remember, when you do your notes, try to kind of keep it the same pace as me, like using the same amount of space and everything like that. If you got to use a little bit more, a little bit less, that's okay. Now, another way I could write this, for example, a lot of science or other jobs require you to say things like 2 times 2 times 2 and use a lot of those numbers. But we don't have always that much space to say all those things. So we can rewrite this as 2 and then with a small 4 at the top. All right, so we can say it as 2 with a small 4 at top. The way I would read that is 2 to the power of 4. 2 to the power of 4. So it's 2 raised to the power of 4, 2 to the 4th power. There's a lot of different ways you can read it. But what this 2 to the power of 4 means is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Now if I look at it, I see 2 written there 4 different times. So because I see there that 2 is written 4 different times, that means 2 to the power of 4 means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Now let's break down this part over here. This is essentially 3 different things that we kind of put together. Okay? So let's look at the first thing. We're going to do 3 definitions. This whole entire problem is called a power. And we're going to define what a power is. Alright, so make sure you're writing, guys. If you don't get all of it down, it's okay, right? But you still got to write some things down, right? So I can let go if you miss a word or two. If you want to use abbreviations, you want to use the number symbol as you write, that's okay. Also, right, do what you need to. So this whole thing is called a power. So a power is a number, and I'm just going to use symbols. That kind of helps me with writing, right? Because there's too many words, it takes me forever to write it, so you can use shortcuts when you take your notes. Now, ELA might be a little bit more, picky about it, but I'm okay if you use shortcuts and abbreviate things, as long as you know what the abbreviation is for. So a power is a number that is formed by repeated multiplication by the same factor. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to write that down. Repeated, a number that is formed by repeated multiplication by the same factor. So for example, over here we have 2 to the power of 4, so I got 16 by multiplying 2 by itself 4 separate times. Okay?
Can I go get a journal?
If you want, or if you're doing notes on a piece of paper, you can glue it or tape it into your journal later. Okay? Because I'm going to keep moving. So kind of up to you, Joseph. Okay? So kind of think it might be better just to keep writing on what you're writing and glue it in your notebook later, or tape it in your notebook. That might be easier. Okay? Okay, so this whole thing is called a power. All right? I'm going to keep moving now. This big number here is what we call the base. Now, in one of these problems, the base is the factor which is multiplied, or which is being multiplied, repeatedly. The base is the factor which is being multiplied repeatedly. So for example, in this problem, if I look at my work, I multiplied 2 over and over again. So that's why 2 is my base. I'm not multiplying times 4. I don't see 4 anywhere written originally, right? So 4 isn't my base. 2 is what's being multiplied over and over, so that's why 2 is considered my base. Okay? All right, any questions? Uzi, you got a question? What's up? You can unmute and ask.
So if you have like multiple tattoos or any number, like, so it'll become a base, like a big base.
So if you did like 7 times 7 times 7, 7 is your base. Or if you do 50 times 50 times 50 times 50, that 50 is your base, because that's the number we're repeating. Okay? Awesome. All right. And the last part, this is the last big definition. The rest is just practice problems we're going to write down, guys. The last part is this small number over here, and that is our exponent. So that's the kind of new thing that we're learning today. What is an exponent? So we're going to define exponent. Our exponent is the number of times the base is multiplied. The exponent is the number of times the base is multiplied. Now guys, again, we're not saying, oh, 2 to the power of 4 means 2 times 4. No, okay? Don't get that confused. That's the biggest confusion. The exponent is the number of times the base is multiplied. So for example, I multiplied 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So because I multiplied it 4 times, 4 is my exponent. Okay, so you got to know the difference between those two. Now, again, like I said, when we do our activities today, I'm going to keep some of us in here, put some of us with Mr. Todd. That way, if we have questions, right, 20 people aren't asking me, we kind of split the wealth. So when you go with Mr. Todd or you stay here with me, you have to have these notes with you. Because, you know, me and Mr. Todd can only explain it so many times. So you can use these notes whenever we do activities or assignments, so keep this with you. So these are the 3 main things in a power. Okay? Questions before we move on. Isaac, do you have a question for me? Or is your hand just up? If it's just up, just put it down real quick. All right? Okay. Ayan, do you have a question? Or if your hand's up on accident, just put your hand down. Okay? All right, Uzu, question, what's up?
So the exponent is when, like, 2 times 2 is 4, so that's the exponent?
The exponent is how many times do you see that number. So for example, Uzu, if I do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? How many times do we see 2 there?
4.
4. So 4 is my exponent. If I did 30 times 30, how many times do we see 30 there?
2.
So my exponent would be 2. Okay? Awesome. Good questions, guys. Good questions. So we're going to do a few practice problems, okay? So, again, I want you to keep it on this page so that way, you know, we can see everything and you have it there when we do our activity in just a minute. So, we're going to make 3 columns, okay? And this will take most of the paper, all right? So, in the first column, we're going to write exponential form. The middle column, we're going to write expanded form. And the last column, we're going to write standard notation. Now, if you want to draw a line all the way down, you can. That might be helpful for some of us, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can do this all the way to the bottom of your page. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to do like maybe 2 or 4 examples together, and then I'm going to give you 2 or 3 examples, and then we're going to do our activity, okay, because there's a fun game we get to play today, and I'm so excited for games. I love games. Okay, so let's look at exponential form. Exponential form just means how do I write it with an exponent, or however it's written with an exponent, pretty much your power, okay? So I'm just looking at our cameras. So if you're writing, okay, it's okay if you're writing, but I'm looking to see if we're still working. Because if y'all writing, then I'm thinking, oh, let me slow down or let me wait. So if you need me to wait, it's okay, but I can't wait the whole period. Just keep that in mind. Okay. All right, so let's do the first question. So let's do 5 to the power of 3. So 5 is written like a regular number like we normally write it, and then 3 is a little bit smaller. So now remember, that's exponential form. So that's you showing me the number with the exponent. Expanded form means literally what it says. Expand it all the way out. Okay? So 5 to the power of 3 does not mean 5 times 3. No. Right? Because think about it this way. That number is so tiny, I can't treat it like a regular number. So expanded form means that we're going to take 5, and we're going to multiply it by itself 3 times. So 5 times 5 times 5. Okay? And now we're going to go ahead and work out our problem. Okay, so we're going to go through it step by step. Now, going through step by step is the easiest way. There is another way, like where we can kind of divide and conquer in terms of working out the problem. But let's look at this. Let's do 5 times 5. Okay? If I do 5 times 5, we would get 25. But I'm not done. Right? I still got to multiply by one more thing. So if I do 25 times 5, and if you need to do the work on the side, do the work on the side. Okay? I still need to do work off to the side. Okay? So guess what? It's okay if you do work off to the side. So I do 25 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry your 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 1 is 12. So 25 times 5 gives me my answer of 125. Standard notation, I want you to think about it as meaning, oh, what is your answer? Right? What's the standard that we do? So my standard notation would be 125. Just like that. All right, I'm going to pause real quick because some of us are writing still. Click the raise your hand feature. Do we have any questions? Anyone confused or need me to explain any part? Anyone want me to explain? All right, Uzu, what's up?
So these 3 are just like the same thing, but you write it all out at the same?
Pretty much, right? 5 to the power of 3 means 5 times 5, 5 times 5, right? 5 to the power of 3 means that, and it equals 125, right? So all 3 of these are equivalent expressions, meaning they're pretty much the same thing. All right? Good observation. Awesome. So let's keep it going, right? Don't want to slow us down. So let's keep it going. Next question. And like I said, if you miss any of this today, I will post a picture before the end of our school day at 4:15. I'll always post it, and I will kind of show you where you can find that. It'll probably be in this folder. Excuse me. Let's do the next one. We have 4 to the power of, let's do 4 to the power of 5. Now you got to make sure you practice on how to say it. 4 to the power of 5. 5 to the power of 3. You can say 4 to the 5th power. That's another way. All right, can I get a volunteer or use the raise your hand feature? What is going to be the expanded form of this question? What do you think the expanded form would be? Now, don't be scared, okay, because I'll help you out even if it's giving you a hard time. All right, Keja, go ahead and unmute your mic and tell me, what do you think?
You do 4 times itself 5 times.
Right? 4 times itself 5 times. Perfect job. Thank you so much. You can mute your mic. So it's 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. And if you're the kind of person like me, I got too much going on in my head. So I don't like keeping track of stuff in my head. So what I do is I'll write out, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5 times. I got it. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with doing that. If you got to do it that way, there's no shame. It's totally fine. Okay? So just use your time and make sure that you understand that. Okay? All right. So now let's look at this problem. Right? This one I'm going to show you a little trick where you can kind of split the question up into different groups and then solve it. So let's think about our times tables. I can easily do 4 times 4. I know 4 times 4 is 16. See, normally in class we'd say it together, but it's okay. So 4 times 4 is 16. Ooh, look over here, another 4 times 4. Well, I can do 4 times 4 again. 4 times 4 is going to get me 16. So 16 times 16. And I have a little times 4 over here, and there's nothing to multiply it by. And that's okay. So we're just going to leave it right there as times 4. Let me know if y'all are having a hard time reading it. If it's too small or you need me to zoom in, you can always let me know. Okay, so let's go ahead and clean this up. I can do 16 times 16, right? I got to do a little bit of work, but that's okay. Now remember, guys, you want to practice doing the work, okay? Just don't wait for me to give you an answer. Because when you do a test or something on your own, you have to know how to do it on your own. So let's say I did 16 times 16. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 1 is 3. 6 plus 3 is 9. Placeholder, cross out whatever I carried in the past. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 plus 0 is 6. 9 plus 6 is 15. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I find out that 16 times 16 gets me 256. Now I'm not done. I still have to multiply by 4. Okay, I'm going to give you all a minute. I want you to work that out by yourself. Okay, I'm going to call on someone. Take a minute. That way some of y'all can catch up also. And do the work off to the side. If you need more space, okay, you can write it at the very top of the page, whatever works best for you. Okay? So I'm going to work it out, but I want you to work it out also. Okay. Click the raise your hand feature. Any volunteers to answer that question for me? What did you get for your answer? So check if your hand is being raised. Okay. Let me hear from Jonathan. Jonathan, go ahead and share with us what you get for your answer.
I accidentally clicked on it.
Okay, no worries, no worries. All right, Joseph, go ahead and share with us what you get for your answer.
I have 1,024.
Hey, perfect. That sounds great. I also got 1,024. Now, if you got a different answer, look and compare what we did differently. Okay? Let's say, for example, you got 256, but you didn't get 1,024. Look to see what I did and compare it to what you did. Because when we do this, like online class or even in real school, like I can't stop and help all 25 people find a mistake, right? So the best thing to do is like look and see, oh, did you get a 4 here? Did you get a 2 here? Did you get a 0? Did you get a 1? Did you carry these numbers? That's what you need to look for. Because if you notice you didn't do that, then that's where your mistake is. Okay. We're going to do 3 more questions. One more is going to take a little bit of work, but the other 2 are going to be quick ones. Okay? Oops, sorry. All right. Let me do one more question, then I'll take Abby and Uz's question. Okay? The next one I have is I'm going to do 10 to the power of 2. 10 to the power of 2. Okay? So if I do 10 to the power of 2, let me hear from, let's see, Vincent. Can you go ahead and unmute your mic? If I say 10 to the power of 2, what is that going to be in expanded form? What do you think?
10 times 10.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. And off the top of your head, do you know what 10 times 10 is going to be, Vincent, or do you need some time?
100.
Perfect. Sounds great, team. So I do just 10 times 10. 10 times 10 gets me 100. That's my answer, 100. Okay. Uzu, do you have a question for me?
The multiplication, I didn't do it right because I thought you could go down and do it again, but I didn't.
Yeah, no worries. So just compare what I did to what you did and try to see where that mistake is so you can avoid it next time. Okay? Awesome. Abby, you got a question? What's up?
Yeah, someone is trying to, requesting me, to go to another class.
Oh, like they're calling you kind of thing?
Yeah.
Do you see the name, like what teacher's name is on it?
It says, let me see.
Even if it's like a first name, I can figure it out.
Samuels? Tona Samuels?
Let me see. Because you can ignore it for now. I'll try and figure out and see who that might be. But you're supposed to be in this class. Okay, so you're good. You can ignore it. Okay? Because what might also happen, for example, like your email address, abby.z, that could be like another student with a different number. So some teachers might accidentally call you or something like that. Okay? But you're in the right class, so stay with us. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and look at one other thing, or two other things. One other thing is another quick way to say these two, okay? Excuse me. Over here, 10 to the power of 2, you can say 10 to the power of 2, but another way that people say it is a little bit of an abbreviated way. They use the word squared. So they can say, 10 to the power of 2, that just means 10 squared. So you can say 10 squared, or you can say 10 to the power of 2. Now, I'm just putting that there so that way you know that when someone says squared, I have 10 squared. That's 10 to the power of 2. Another way to think about what is a square. A square is a two-dimensional shape. So power of 2 could also mean squared. Now, let's think about it. What's an example of a three-dimensional shape? Right? If you had to think on the top of your head, the most common answer you're going to get is a cube, right? So 5 to the power of 3, you can also call it cubed. Now, there's no fancy schmancy word for 5. You don't say 5 to the, I don't even know, right? There's nothing for that, right? You can say 4 to the 5th power, 4 raised to the power of 5, whatever you want. But the only kind of hint words that you'll see is cubed and squared. So sometimes you might not see the 2 or the 3, but it'll be there in that sentence. Okay. We're going to do 2 examples. We're going to do 2 more questions. Then I'm going to give you 2 example ones. And then we're going to break off and do our activities. So let's do the next 2. The next 2 are special cases. So you want to make sure you hear this because you're going to hear these special cases pop up and you want to figure out, hey, how do I do this? So the first special case is 7 to the power of 1. Okay? Now let's think about it. If I say 7 to the power of 1, well, it's not 7 times 7, right? That's raised to the second power. If it's just raised to the power of 1, we only write down the number 7 one
Daniel,
time.
I can't see what you wrote. Can you
Ooh. There we go. Better?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So when I say 7 to the power of 1, it's not 7 times 7 because that's 7 squared. 7 to the power of 1 just means we see 7 one time. So there's no multiplying, nothing to do, so my answer would be just 7. Okay? So you can think about as things raised to the first power as a special case. Okay, that's the easiest way I can kind of think about it. All right? The other only special case is when it's raised to the power of 0. So let's say, for example, we take 12 and we raise it to the 0 power. So when I do 12 to the 0 power or raised to the power of 0, it's not 12 times 0, right? Because, for example, here it's not 7 times 1, it's not 10 times 2, it's not 4 times 5, right? 12 to the power of 0 is kind of weird because 0 means, if I look at my definition, the exponent's the number of times the base is being multiplied. Well, 0 means I'm never multiplying by 12. So it's kind of weird. So when it's raised to the power of 0, there's no way I can expand it. No way. I could spend 5 hours sitting here trying to expand it, but there's nothing to expand. 12 not multiplied by itself, there's no work for it. Now I can't put 0 as my answer. If I put 0, that means I do 12 times 0, and that's not what I'm doing. So we're going to put the lowest whole number possible for our answer, and that's going to be 1. So that's, again, one of our special cases. So I'm going to tell you, you can write this down as a special case. Anytime we have a power with an exponent of 1, it equals, not exponent of 1, exponent of 0. So this is why I gotta use pencil. Anytime it has an exponent of 0, it's always going to equal 1. So if you get 1 million to the power of 0, it's just going to be 1. If you do 500 to the power of 0, it's going to be 1. If you do, 500 to the power of 0, it's going to be 1. If you do 12,478 to the power of 0, it's going to be 1. Okay, so it's always kind of one of our special cases that we have to make sure that we know. Okay, Uzi, you got a question for me? What's up? Say it again, Uzu.
I was just going to say what you just said.
Oh, okay, yeah, exactly. All right. So I don't see anyone else using the raise hand feature, so we're going to go ahead and keep moving. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 questions, guys. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to work that out, and then we're going to come back, talk about it, and then we're going to break off into our groups and do our activities. Okay? So the 2 questions I have for you, okay, these will be the last 2 things on this page, I promise. The first one, I want you to solve 8 to the power of 3. I want you to give me what is the expanded form and what is the standard notation. Okay? So what is the standard form? What is the expanded form and what is the standard notation? Now the other one, I'm going to kind of flip it on you a little bit. I'm going to tell you that this is what the expanded form is. I want you to tell me what the exponential form is and the standard notation. Okay? Do I have any questions on what I'm asking you to do?
Mr. Daniels, I don't have space for the second one on my notebook.
Okay, if you need to, okay, so I'm going to tell you on one thing. Anytime you need to use more than the number of pages that we're using in class, okay? So let's say, for example, you needed 2 pages to do this lesson. That's fine. You can use the second page, but keep the same page number. So for example, if you flip over and need to use some space, write page 5 again. Don't start a new page number, okay? Now what I'll tell y'all, if you can write at the very, very top of your paper, or the next page we're going to do is Exponents Practice. So you can title the next page, page 6, and put Exponents Practice and do it there. Up to you. Okay? So let's take 2.5 minutes, guys. We'll take 2.5 minutes. And then after that, Mr. Todd, we can split up, and then y'all can do the exit ticket activity. Okay? Awesome. All right, let's take 2.5 minutes, and then we'll review. So remember, mute your mic. So Isaac, mute your mic, buddy. Get into that habit. Every time y'all are done talking, mute your mic. About 1 more minute, guys. Okay, about 30 seconds. I'm going to call on people, so you want to make sure you have your answer ready to go. Alrighty. We are very much well and good to go. Alright, let's do the first question. Alright, my name generator picked Sayona. So Sayona, go ahead and unmute your mic. What did you get for your first answer where it says 8 to the power of 3? What did you get for your expanded form in your answer?
I did 8 times 8 times 8.
Perfect.
8 times 8 4, and then you have another 8 left. And then you do 64 times 8, that equals 512.
Awesome, and yeah, hopefully y'all can see I unfroze my screen. 8 to the power of 3 means 8 times 8 times 8. If you got the answer 24, that means you did it you did 8 times 3, and that's not correct. You want to make sure you do 8 to the power of 3, so 8 times 8 times 8. Great job, and 512. If you got up to here, then that just means you made a calculation mistake. If you made a calculation mistake, Mr. Daniel can be okay with that. It's okay if you make a little bit of a calculation mistake. If you said like 500 was your answer or something you're a little bit off, I get it. But you just want to make sure a little bit more careful next time you do that type of question. All right, thank you so much, Siona. Next, Valentina. Miss Valentina, tell me, what did you get for the last one? I had 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. What is your exponential form, and what did you get for your standard form?
It's 3 to the power of 4.
Perfect.
81.
And what did you get for your answer?
81.
81. Great job. So just like that, guys, when I look at it, okay, 3 to the power of 4 is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, because I see it there 4 times. So I got 3 to the power of 4. I broke it down into 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 9 is 81. You could have done 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, and then 27 times 3 gets you 81. Because guess what, guys? You would get the exact same answer. Okay, so definitely could have done it that way.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes. Question. What's up?
Can we like flip flop it like 4 to the power of 3, or we still get the same error, or would we?
So let's look.
Wrong way?
Let's look, okay? Because I'm always about let's see it to believe it, right? You said 4 to the power of 3. 4 to the power of 3 means 4 times 4 times 4. So if I do that, Isaac, 4 times 4 is 16. Let's look at 16 times 4. Is that going to be the same answer?
No.
No, it gets us something different. So it is important what is your exponent and what is your base. Okay? Great question, though. Great question. All right, any other questions? Valentina, you got a question? What's up?
Yeah, I was just wondering, what would it be if it was like 7 times 4 times 7 times 4 times 7 times 4?
Okay, so with that, we could use exponents, but it's going like a little bit further. I mean, I can kind of talk about it at the end of class, but if you did 7 times 4 times 7 times 4, I did 7 times 7, that's 7 squared times 4 squared. So notice I can't combine that all in one problem, right? Because it's not all the same base. Only when it's the exact same number over and over, then I can just write 3 to the power of 4, 8 to the power of 3. When it's more than one different base, I got to split that up. Okay, good question. All right, Uzu, quick question. What's up?
So what if we're in a test, right, doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we accidentally put the a 3 wait a 4 to the power of 3. So what we still get it wrong? Or
If you did what instead? You did 3 to the power of 3?
4 to the power of 3.
So if you did 4 to the power of 3, if you look over here, Uzu, that means something different. So I wouldn't give you the full credit for it, right? So you would lose some points. So just be careful in knowing what's the base and what's the exponent. Okay, base is what's repeating. Exponent's how many times that number is being repeated. Okay, awesome. All right, so this is what we're going to do, okay? When I call your name, I'm going to have some of y'all go into channel number 1 because I'm going to take questions, and it's a lot for me to do. 25 people with questions, so me and Mr. Todd are going to kind of split some of the class up a little bit. So when I call your name, you're going to go into the channel that says group 1. Okay, so not from last time. Okay, it's going to be different people. So listen for your name, okay, because I didn't get time to write down all of your names on here. In my group number 1, let me get Ion, Brandon, Jacob, Lucas, Raina. Okay, we can do that group for now, Mr. Todd. Okay? Okay, so let me say it again. If your name is Ion, Brandon, Jacob, Lucas, Raina, or Uzu. Oh no, Uzu, you stay in here. But if those are your names, go ahead and go into the group number 1. Mr. Todd, they can go to a new page, page 6, and work on the exit ticket there. Awesome. So if I called your name again, that is Ion, Brandon, Jacob, Lucas, go ahead and Raina, go ahead and go to channel number 1. Okay. Everybody else, we're going to go to our next page in our notebook, page number 6. Let me see if my camera's adjusted. Okay, let's fix that. Okay, page number 6. Today is the 24th. And this title is going to be Exponents Practice. Okay? Exponents Practice. Alright guys, I'm going to make a deal with y'all, okay? I did have a game ready for today, okay? I did have a game. But, okay, I also have an exit ticket you need to complete. So here's the thing. If I kind of skip the game a little bit, okay, I can give you time in class right now to work on the exit ticket so you have nothing to do for me in your asynchronous time, okay? So nothing you have to do in asynchronous. But I don't think we have enough time to play the game, okay? So I'm going to help you all out, okay? We're going to do a few practice questions on here. I'm going to write out the question, and I want you to solve it, okay? And then I'm going to give you a little bit of extra time so you can do the exit ticket, okay? That way you'll save a little bit of time and be able to do that, okay? All right, so let's do our practice questions, okay? Practice question number 1. I'm going to put my timer for about 30 seconds, okay? So some of these might take 30 seconds, some of it might be less. You are going to write down your answer, and then I'm going to call on somebody to share. Brandon, I saw that you joined us back. Brandon, make sure you go to channel 1, or group 1 in the channels, okay? So take a minute to go look for that. All right, question 1.
It's not showing me the group 1 or group 2 thing, and I don't see the group 1.
Okay, give me just a second then, okay? You can do the question with us right now then, Brandon.
Okay.
Question 1, what is 5 to the power of 1? 30 seconds, write your answer. Alrighty. Okay, let me hear from, let's add a little bit of variety. Let me hear from Amoge. Amoge, tell me what you get for your answer.
The answer is 5.
Woo! It is just 5, right? Because 5 to the power 1 is just that number by itself. Okay, let's do the next one. Next one is going to be Let's do 6 to the power of 3. I want you to write it in expanded form and standard form. So expand it out and solve it. I'll give you about a minute for that one, because even Mr. Dan needs some time to do the math. Okay? Work that one out. And I'll spin for a random name. Alrighty. Let me hear from my name generator chose Jonathan. Go ahead and unmute your microphone, sir, and tell me, what did you get for the expanded form and your answer?
So it's 6 in the exponent is 6 and 3, right?
Yes.
So 6 times 6 times 6.
Great job. Did you get your answer for that one?
I'm still trying to do it.
Okay, so let's do this then, Brandon, okay? So first I need to do 6 times 6, okay? 6 times 6 will get me 36. So what should I do after that?
Times 6.
There you go. Okay? So if you can do that, then you're good to go. If I do 36 times 6, 216. Awesome. I'm going to put one more up, and then I'm going to put 3 for you to do. Okay? So let me put one more up, and then I'm going to give you all 3 to do on your own. Let's do, let's do 6 squared plus 3. Now, when you look at this, some of you might know what PEMDAS is, or some of you might know what order of operation is. So when I do this, solve what is 6 squared, or 6 to the power of 2. Solve that, then add 3 to that answer. Okay? Let's take a minute, work that out. Is Jonathan? Jonathan is here. I just called him. Okay. What?
Should we go now and pump gas?
No. Do you have any gas?
I don't have any gas.
Why didn't you pump on the way back?
Because I was scared I was going to be late to get ready.
Alrighty. Yeah. Alright, so let's go ahead and review. Let me hear from... I didn't get a spin yet, but... Let me hear from Zachary. Zachary, are you here this morning? Yeah, you are here, buddy. Okay, tell me, what did you do to solve your problem, and what did you get?
I got 39.
Perfect. And how'd you get that?
I multiplied 6 times 6,
Okay.
and I got 36.
And then what do we do?
And I added 3, and I got 39.
Perfect job. All right, any questions for me, guys? Anyone confused? Okay.
Mr. Daniels, I'm not confused, but I thought it was 6 to the power of 3.
That's a 2. Okay. Okay, no worries. If you did 6 to the power of 3, you definitely get something a little bit different. But, you know, that's just something to think about. Okay, so don't worry. If you did 6 to the power of 3, you might have got 219. Is that what you got? Something like that? Okay, so you were just off by a little bit, but that's okay. All right, we're going to do this now, okay? So you can draw a little line on your paper, and you're going to do the exit ticket for today on the bottom. This exit ticket is for a grade, and you get 2 chances, okay? So I'm going to show you how to find that in our Schoology class. So go to Schoology. In Schoology, go ahead and go to our class.